Kindly administer the oath, please.
I, Simon Osei Mensah,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable members, let me also now announce at the outset that in view of our circumstances, we have discussed and agreed at leadership that for each of the nominees, 6 people from each side will be allowed. So the leadership will determine which 6 people can ask questions before we come to leadership. Thank you very much. Honorable Frederick Osei Mensah, you've been a member of Parliament for 3 terms. You were a member of the ECOWAS Parliament and indeed a Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. You've been a Regional Minister for the region of Ashanti in the last 4 years. You probably are learning to compete with the chiefs in Ashanti, so now with your cloth, how rich and how well you have worn it, it shows that royalty is seeping into you gradually. Now, many of us here have known you in the House and at the ECOWAS Committee. Now, in addition to these 3, which for our purposes, qualification to be a minister, is there any other thing you may wish us to know?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, Honorable Chairman, I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate members of the committee for your successful elections, since this is the first time I'm meeting you. I pray that the Almighty God will give you the strength and courage and wisdom to execute your responsibilities for the betterment of Ghana. Honorable Chairman, besides the 3 things that you mentioned, I taught at Adebi Commercial Institute, teaching mathematics and economics. That was after 6-4. I did my national service at Consulting for Innovations in Human Settlement Development. And then after my national service, I was fully engaged. Thus, I completed the national service in 1992, and then I was engaged immediately after that. Then, about a year and a half later, I got appointment at Agricultural Development Bank as a credit officer. Some of the banks called project.
Honorable nominee, that's fine. We are happy about all that. All that matters to us is that you qualify by our constitutional arrangement. So now we'll open the floor for members to ask you questions. Let your experience reflect in how you answer your questions, right? All right. Now, Honorable Minority Leader will start.
Chairman, let me also welcome and congratulate our colleague Simon Osei Mensah, who would be representing the president in a key and important region of the country, Ashanti region. And Chairman, just going through his CV, this is just for my nomenclature purposes. I see you say you are acting Ashanti Regional Minister. I will prefer President Representative in Ashanti Region. noting that others may disagree with me, the Supreme Court ruling in Osei Mensah versus Attorney General that you yourself have read. I would rather prefer that you are representing the president in that capacity. Now, Chairman, I don't see committees he served in Parliament. Take your CV and show me where you have itemized which committees of Parliament you served on. Okay, I've seen it now in paragraph 5B, public accounts. Suffice it to say that you just leave it open-ended without giving us some, the lapse period, the sunset. There's always a 6th January 2017 and a 6th January 2020. So take note of that. I'm sure Chairman will indulge you to deal with it. The Ashanti region, road infrastructure remains a major problem. We all drive through. If I have to go to Tamale via Techima, Akumadan, I have to come through Swami. And the difficulty is that there's just one-way traditional route. Other than that, no option. There's no alternative route. If I want to drive out and avoid the congested traffic in the Ashanti region to get up to Bunu and to the north, what will you do about that should you get confirmed as minister? Thank you, Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. There are two things I'm considering. The first one is to have a second ring road around Greater Kumasi. That road will pass through Ejoso, Biabin, Kwabri East, Nkawie, Achumako Angoma, Bosomtwi, and it will join Ejoso again. When we have this second ring road, vehicles that have no business in the central business district area of Kumasi will just join the second ring road, and when we get to the point that we have to turn, then they will turn. So for instance, if you have to use the Techima road, you may not need to drive up to Araga Junction before you turn right. But you join the ring road just before Ejoso, and then you branch off. And the designs have been completed. The other option is to look at critical link routes. For instance, you get to Apatrapa Junction, there's a road that we can use to join Kwabri East. Or when you get to Buankra, immediately after Buankra, there was a critical link road that goes through Jabin, which will not need to come back to Araga Junction. So these are the two options we are considering now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman says he has a follow-up. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, these designs were in place when I was working at DVLA 20 years ago. They have been, we've been talking about them. The road reservations that we made are being encroached upon because no action is taken. Why should I be hopeful that in the next 4 years anything will happen?
Honorable Chairman, when you graciously gave me the nod and I was sworn in 2017, the major problem in Ashanti region was road infrastructure. So I prioritized the route. The first one I did was to ensure that all bridges that were broken, but the roads were very good, we fixed those bridges. Then I look at some major roads leading to Kumasi. And the most important one was the Accra-Kumasi road that has the highest volume of traffic. And the major problem on that road was to remove the 4 roundabouts that were creating traffic congestion and a lot of accidents in the Kumasi metropolis or maybe in Ashanti region. Now, after removing them, then I had to look at the highways. Now, most of the highways have been awarded on contract. So, my preoccupation will be on the outer ring road now, because some improvement. I won't say we've reached where we want to go, but some improvements have been achieved in the road sector. And for that matter, I'll give a lot of concentration on the outer inner ring road and critical link roads.
Chairman, if we were to follow up on yours again, so state of roads in Ashanti region, tell us what percent is motorable, what is unmotorable, what is good. You are the leaders with that. What's the state of road? You say good work have been done. Share with us the good work.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable, we have about 40% that you can see are good. That is within the Greater Kumasi area. Then about 30-something very good, and we have the rest being bad. But it's an improvement, even though we still lag behind when it comes to road development. During the last 4 years, with the help of the Minister for Roads and Highways and other people, some of the members of Parliament from the region and some other people from the region, we were able to obtain 189 separate projects, road projects. 40 of them highways, then 49 urban roads, and then 100 feeder roads. And the total length is 2,099 kilometers. But for the COVID, I'm sure most of them have been completed. But I believe that this term we'll complete most of them and then get more projects in addition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Ashanti again noted for its rich cultural heritage. The Adua dance, if you read Professor Nkatia or many of the values and cultures of the Ashanti people, may his soul rest in peace. Yet we are not even able to export it. But that is possible. What's your view on what to do for tourism development for the Ashanti, taking advantage of those cultural practices for purposes of exports?
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable, this particular term, if you give me the nod, my focus will be on the tourism sector, among others. But during my first term, I had discussions with the Minister for Trade and Industries and Otum for the possibility of we obtaining international patent rights, for instance, for Kente. As we are all aware, Kente originated from Ghana, but now some other countries are coming out with some designs that appear to be Kente. And until we get the patent right for Kente, for instance, it will be difficult, which is a major aspect of our culture. Kente is not woven only in Ashanti region, and no parts of Volta regions too, they produce Kente. So if we are able to obtain patent right for the weaving of Kente, it will help us and improve upon the culture of this country, and it will boost also tourism. The other aspect will be Lake Bosomtwe, which already some two investors have come. They've shown interest. I've asked them to submit detailed proposals so that we look at it. We want to see if it's possible that we develop Lake Bosomtwe into an integrated international tourism center, ecotourism center, where people can go and visit. At least that is the only natural lake in West Africa. And if we are able to develop it, it will help us a lot. The first step we needed to do was the road to Lake Bosomtwe from Kumasi was very bad, but it has been awarded on contract, even though it's not moving as fast as we want. Some portions have already been asphalted, And the moment we finish, it will ease travel from Kumasi to Lake Bosomtwi. And if these two investors, at least if one can come up with a very acceptable proposal, maybe you can develop the place, as I'm thinking, to an integrated international ecotourism center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, again, President John Dramani Mahama, as he then was, initiated the modernization and redevelopment of the Kumasi Central Market. You inherited it. We know that government has further secured financing to expand it. There are problems in those who originally were occupants in the shops and stores. And we've had even conflicts between you and the mayor of Kumasi in the distribution. What is the status of those stores? Or just speak to the market development project. The first phase, where is it? The second phase, where are you with it? Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. Unfortunately, the committee that oversees the management of the market, surprisingly, the Regional Coordinating Council is not involved. So anytime the regional minister or the Regional Coordinating Council comes in, then there's a problem between the management committee and either the contractor or the traders. What I know now is that all the shops have been allocated, even though initially there were some challenges. But the shops have been allocated. The first batch, those who were there in 2015, before the project commenced, have been moved to the place first. And then the land where we needed to commence the second phase, also we started, but they say they need more additional land, which we work on, and I've issued a press release that by the end of 7th of this March, we want them to leave so that we don't have problems with the financing of the project.
Chairman, I know that this is done, led by the Ministry for Local Government and Rural Development. Other parts of the country may require same. Do you anticipate a third phase of that project?
Yes, definitely there should be a third phase of the project, because if we don't get the third phase, it will be extremely difficult for us to decongest the central business district area.
The market women are not happy with the committee working on it, and they think that in allocating the shops, there was some discrimination against a section of them. What do you have to say to that?
Yes, such reports came to me. That is why the movement even delayed. So at that point, I had to set up a committee at the Regional Coordinating Council under my supervision, and then set 3 desks to receive the various complaints. It was after I had received the complaint and resolved them. That was when we were able to move the traders from Central Market to the Kejetia project.
So what will you do to please those dissatisfied market women or men who are not happy with the way you allocated the shop? How much are you taking as fees? How much do they pay for each of those shops? You have an idea how much it is? Thank you, Chair.
What I know that it varies depending on the size of
Share the range with us, whatever numbers you have. How much are they paying for those shops?
I know some is around 7,000. We have some around 12,000.
You don't have some above 12,000?
No, we have some above 12,000.
So state it.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I said some around 7,000, some 12,000, and some above 12,000. I think it's about 25,000 something.
Yeah, Chairman, I've raised this because, you know, government comes to Parliament under the Ministry of Local Government and gets approval for a loan facility to build a market. You are there making charges between 7,000 to 12,000 Ghana cedis for purposes of amortizing the loan. Yet the central government is not benefiting from that money. And when the agreement came before Parliament the last time, we requested that there must be a backup agreement between the KMA and the Ministry of Local Government and Government as to how the contribution of the market women will assist the central government in amortizing the loan. What do you have to say to this? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, to the best of my knowledge, there is an agreement among KMA, Ministry of Local Government, and Ministry of Finance. As to the sharing formula is what I don't know. I cannot tell, but I know that there was an
Has
agreement.
any money ever been paid to central government from that fund? And how much accrued to that fund? Can you share with this committee?
Honorable Member, if I see that I have that information, I will not be truthful to you. I don't have it now, but I will find out.
Chairman, we will require that details to help government understand how it will service that debt.
Please, Leader, he says he doesn't have that information, so he can provide it. It's for KMA. If you make that demand of him, you may have to go to KMA and get that. So
But Chairman, he supervises KMA.
KMA is a central, an authority on its own.
But
if we want it, we may ask.
No, Chairman, they come here and I read. Okay, we'll discuss it further. Okay, now what's the status of the Konfanachi maternity block project? A few weeks ago, there were some legitimate concerns raised about it. What's the status of it? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, the project has been awarded on contract. Initially, when the contractor and the consultants did reconnaissance survey, they made an indication that outwardly the building looked very strong, and they felt there was a possibility of doing reinforcement of the structure and continue with the project. Within the contract, the contractor was also supposed to do, after the signing of the contract, the contractor was supposed to do an in-depth structural integrity test of the building. So they needed to excavate, to look at the columns, look at the concrete, etc. Now, after doing the structural integrity test, the information they brought was that it has failed the test, and truly I went there myself. Some of the concrete you can use your hand to disintegrate them. So, and then most of the iron rods have also rusted. And then you could see that the type of iron rods they use for this structure are even smaller. So the consultant said that they would not like to advise the contractor to continue with the project as it is or do reinforcement, but rather demolish the whole structure. So that is where we are now.
Chairman, crime, the incidence of crime in the Ashanti region, as I read it, crime is very high. Even the incidence of what criminologists call recidivism, it is again reported that in Ashanti is also very high. What do you intend to do as chairman of RESTEC to contain crime in the region, together with the traditional authorities and the people there? Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Ranking Member. Honorable, it's true we've not been able to maybe totally eliminate crime in Ashanti region, but I know it's an impossibility anyway. But we brought it down significantly, even though I will be the first to admit that still there are some form of robberies, kidnapping, and sometimes you have highway robbery, etc. But the rate has come down significantly. I will, at this point, express my appreciation and gratitude to the members of the Regional Security Council and the chiefs and people of the region for giving me the needed support. In fact, we work on it. We are intensifying highway patrols, and we have joint teams, security teams made up of the police and the military. The police lead, and then the military gives them the support. Once a while, we do unannounced sweeps. We do some sweeps, intelligent-led sweeps in some areas, just to bring down the crime. But from 2017, I would say the security issues we inherited, we've done quite well. For instance, when we took over, the major security issues that were pending, one was the Agogo herdsmen minutes. And then we had the issue of relocation of the capital of Achimapa from Fransi to Chedie as per the ruling of Supreme Court in 2012. We used to have protracted communal clashes between Ashanti youth and Zungu youth around Kwabri East area. We've been able to resolve all these things. If you might recall, the issue of Agogo cattle herdsmen didn't start today. Even the first operation cow leg was in 1992. And in 2017, that was about 25 years. But because of the good systems we put in place, now Agogo is exporting plantain and maize to Burkina Faso. Said that when you go to Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou now, we have Agogo food market, that is where they sell plantain and maize. The other one, in the Supreme Court ruling, it was tough. If somebody having the district capital for more than 10 years, and all of a sudden with the ruling, they say move it from Fransi to Chedie. But coup has prevailed, and with the support of the chiefs and the people of Fransi and Chedie, successfully we've been able to relocate the capital from Fransi to Chedie. Additionally, if we take the Ehia communal crisis, now we've been able to solve it. It was protracted almost every year, it occurred. But what we did was that we needed to establish a new police station at the place and put some non-uniform people among the group so that they could provide intelligence anytime it wanted to raise its ugly head. And now the situation has come under control. Since 2008, we've not witnessed it again. So there are several achievements. I won't say that we performed extraordinary, but at least we've done well in the area of security. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I'm going by the arrangements here. Honorable Zera.
Zera. Oh, okay.
It's your turn, yeah.
Ashanti, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Honorable Nominee. As Regional Minister, President's representative in Ashanti Region. Ashanti Region has over almost 5 million. The population of Ashanti Region is about 5 million, right?
It's almost 6 million.
6 million now, yeah.
The projection for 2020 is 5,924,278.
Well, that's over 5 million people in Ashanti Region alone. And we've read intermittently in the media about water shortages in parts of the region, especially in Kumasi. What have you been doing about it, and what will you do if you get the nod of this committee and go back to your position to ease the issues of water shortage on the people of Ashanti Region?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, once a while we have problems with water in Ashanti Region, and these have been due to breakdown in some of the equipment. For instance, at a point, the Owabi Waterworks, they had problem with power supply. And as a result, we needed to replace a generator there before they could pump. Once they couldn't pump the water, all those who were taking their supplies from that source definitely will have to have problems. Sometimes they will do diversion, but they will not be working very well. Some of the pipes are also very old, and you quite often see water bursting from place to place, and they need to work on it. When they are going to work on such ones, definitely they will have to close the taps and to make sure that they can do proper work. Besides that, if there are electricity problems, it also results in this one. But it's not very serious as of now. That is what I'll say. But once in a while, we do have experienced them. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Honorable Patrick Obama.
Thank you very much. Honorable, you live in Kumasi with Ashanti Regional, a very peaceful man, and I'm sure you have a very good working relationship with him. And the communities around Mensah Palace, you have Aswansi, Abu, Grove Room, Bichem, so all manner of persons living around. I read in the media, I just Googled you, issuing a statement on the 9th of October 2018. I didn't say I was superior to Nordness, Osei Mensah. Reading this on Ghana Web, I realized there was an issue with a certain tape which was attributed to you. Having been a member of parliament and looking at Rotufo and the region you represent, Ashanti region has lived with Evers, Gans, Muslims. What is the story about this tape that I'm reading? It's
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member also saw the video, and I speak to this issue with the greatest of sorrow and the highest of passion. This tape, I should say that, is a pure ethnocentric concoction by somebody who dislikes me to the core. That tape is not my voice. I know nothing about it. I'm not the architect of it. The Honorable Chairman, I'll beg not to pass or talk too much about this issue because I filed a suit. I filed a 10 million suit at the High Court against Militant Publications Limited, publishers of the Inside newspaper, the acting editor of the Inside newspaper, and one Ni Titi Tete, who claims to be the CEO of Strategic Thinkers Network. And the case is pending before the High Court. It has been called once. So with your permission, I'll plead not to comment too much on the issue since it's before the court.
Very well.
very well, since the matter is subject.
I'm saying it's good he's saying this because I was going to make a comment further. I didn't know that there was a suit pending. All right.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. Since the matter is sub judice, I will restrain myself and I wouldn't proceed. And I'll move to my second question, which is on industrialization in the Ashanti region. The Minister of Trade was here last week, Friday, and he made a very bold statement to the fact that Kumasi was going to be the second industrial city in Ghana. We've lived, I'm not too old, but I've seen that most of the industries in Kumasi are gone. KBL and all the timber industries that used to employ a lot of people are all gone. What are you going to do to support the trade minister and the government and the president to bring back the industrial and commercial life in Kumasi to where it used to be? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, we are working on this. Before I became the regional minister in 2017, the government had already acquired land for free zone. Fortunately, it's in the constituency of Honorable Lawyer John Kuma. Besides that, recently when I became the regional minister, in collaboration with the Minister for Trade and Industries, we've acquired over 3,000 acres of land for industrial purposes. That is the same area we are supposed to have the Buankra interchange. To realize the dream of industrialization in the Ashanti region, in my next term, if you confirm me, my concentration will be on 3 major projects. Not that I will ignore the other, but there are 3 major if we want to push forward the industrialization agenda, as we are all wishing. 1, the completion of the international airport, so that people can fly from outside Ghana straight to Kumasi, and you can check in at Kumasi and take your luggage at your final destination, maybe Europe. That's the first one. The second one, you see, Buankra Port has been on the drawing board for a long time. Honorable member, I can assure you that without any railway link between Tema and Buankra and Takrady and Buankra, the Buankra inland port will still be a garage. So my focus will also be in the extension of railway line from Tema to Buankra and from Takrady to Buankra. When we obtain this, I'm telling you definitely the industrialization agenda will be successful.
Finally, Chairman, please your microphone. I want to ask a question that my brother from Asawase posed to one of your colleagues yesterday on substance abuse. Substance abuse. Most of the young people in and around Kumasi do take this tramadol. They call it tramor. Some crack. And you know where they are. I don't want to sit here and mention the names. What have you been able to do to change people's mindsets on this substance abuse? It has to be a very important project in your second term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, some members of the Regional Security Council have been educating the youth and people in Ashanti region in general on the media landscape, especially on the radio. The regional police commander, the crime officer, they go on air. We get slots at the various radio stations where they go and educate the people against the use of all these drugs. The other thing we also do is what I mentioned about this intelligence-led soups. The only thing is that the strategy the current RESEC or the previous RESEC used was that when we make the arrest, we don't parade them publicly. Especially you do soup, you see some weapons, etc. You come and show it, then you keep frightening people. So what we do is that when they are arrested, they are sent to the courts, they are prosecuted. If judgment is given in your favor, fine. If it's not given in your favor, then the law deals with them. Thank you.
All right, Honorable Samsahi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to first ask about the nominee. He has been in the region for the past 4 years. And he has been a member of parliament before. And it was what?
And I was with him at the ECOWAS Parliament.
Yes, we were in ECOWAS Parliament together. But at this stage, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about different things altogether. So I'm sure he is aware that there are a lot of ongoing projects in the region, which some were started by the previous government, be it health facilities, schools, and so on and so forth. What effort have you made in the past 4 years to get the ongoing projects done, and what are you going to do, given the nod, to ensure that all those facilities are completed for the people in the region to benefit.
All right, thank you, my honorable member. Honorable Chairman, yes, it's true. There are some projects. Some started from the time of former President Kufuor, some started during the time of former President Mahama. In the case of the hospitals, we continue on with those projects. Now, if you take Tepa Municipal Hospital or Hafuano North Municipal Hospital, it was completed last year and then commissioned. The Kwai Hospital, we started during the time of the late Kutu Echampon and continued by subsequent governments, was also continued and handed over last year. That is, it was commissioned. But my understanding during the commissioning, what the health officers told us was that after the commissioning, that is when the contractor trains the staff on the new equipment, how to use the new equipment. I was in Bekwai last Friday. They have started using the facility. They told us you don't move all the people en bloc. So you go department by department. So you start with department where there's not too much pressure. So now they moved the administration there. They've moved the physiotherapy unit there. They've moved the X-ray unit there. And they are operating the mortuary. The information they gave me was that this week, the outpatient department will also move. And they say that as soon as the outpatient department moves to the place, automatically the wards must be released to them. Because if somebody comes, maybe the person should be on admission. It's not that time they will have to refer or transfer the person to the old site. So that one is ongoing. Konongo Municipal Hospital, or Ashanti Regional Central Municipal Hospital. The contractor and the consultant informed me that they will be able to finish by the end of this month. And that one, I trust they will finish by the end of this month. Kumewu, they said they can finish in 10 months. I have my doubts a little. That's one, you give us about 1 year plus. That they can finish that project. Afari, Military Hospital, that also they projected to complete by the end of this month. But the worst scenario is that Afari, they should be able to complete that project by the end of the second quarter, latest, by the end of the second quarter. Ashanti Regional Hospital, they projected to complete by the end of May. So all these projects are ongoing, and additional sword cutting have also been made. We are praying that we can get all these projects completed and the other new ones add on, because Ashanti region, we have serious health problems. So with the completion of all these, I'm telling you, maybe the problem will be resolved significantly. So we didn't abandon them. And some of the school projects too, we never abandoned them. We even completed most of them and added on. If you take for the 4-year period, educational infrastructure alone that we had in the region was 702. 424 for basic and 278 for senior high school. Most of them have been completed. So we did not, there are some 1 or 2 projects, maybe let me talk about the E block. Like Drobonso. Now the government has decided to add a boarding facility, because if you know there, it will be difficult to operate that school as a community day school, because you can never have enough students from that catchment area. And the community too is not all that big. So the government is providing boarding facility to that one. So all these, we didn't abandon them. If you come to Oyoko, The students, we have students in there enrolled since I think 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Barakese water system is the major source of water to the people, particularly in Kumasi. I remember when I was a deputy minister, we had a lot of challenges with regards to encroachment of the reserved land for the facility. We started greening the area, growing trees and clipping crops just to reclaim the lost land. What are you doing? What are you going to do, given the law, to ensure that that facility is protected to prevent encroachment? Because when we lose it, the whole community will be in crisis. What are you going to do to ensure that that Barakasi facility is protected to continue to serve the people in Kumasi? And I believe that is in your constituency too. Or that's not in your constituency. Okay, okay. All right.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Chairman, yes, he's right. If we go to Barakasi, there's encroachment. Some trees have been planted, more are being planted. But the major encroachment there is slightly different from the one at Owabi. This one, they've released the land for the cultivation of cocoa farms, that Barakasi area. And then when you go to Owabi, that one is building construction. What I intend proposing, if that will be acceptable by government, is to declare all buffer zones around water treatment plants as security zones. If you're able to declare these as security zones and you have security personnel mining those places, we can stop this. Because those who build, they build even in the night. You get there the following day, the person has built. You demolish, good, and next time somebody has built. So if it's possible, if that is possible, to declare buffer zones around water treatment plants as security zones, maybe that will help us. So that is what I'm going to push there. As to whether it will be acceptable or not, I cannot tell, but that is what I'm going to propose.
I just wish to advise that for the Owabi clear map zone, there was litigation involved. There's an area, resettlement area, that was where all the development was going on. After that, then there's the forest and the catchment area. We strove to the resettlement area, but the forest zone is where we should be very careful to avoid people encroaching. But some churches were already inside the forest zone. So if you look carefully, you will be able to identify those areas and protect them.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, there's a group in Ashanti Region called the Zongo Coalition. I believe they even petitioned this committee because I've seen that they served a copy to Mr. Speaker that the kick against the reappointment of Osei Mensah for allegedly making a disparaging statement about Northerners.
Honorable Chairman, I think I've responded to this.
Because reading the report, I saw that they sent a copy to Mr. Speaker. Is that the same?
I don't have that.
No, but what I'm asking is that these people have written that they are kicking against the nomination of
Matter is in court.
Please, can I finish? Can you listen to me? I'm not asking you a question. What I'm asking the Honorable Minister is going to be a minister for all the people in the region. Why would we say to these people who are opposing your nomination as the Ashanti Regional Minister? That's the question I want to just ask you.
Thank you very much. Being Minister for all in the region, and I'll continue to be Minister for all in the region. But this particular issue, I said it in my submission, that I filed a 10 million seat against some people in the High Court. So I don't want to comment further. Thank you very much. For them saying they like me or not, that is their right. They can say it. But I'm not going to comment on the basis for what they do.
Now, did you say you filed against this group? And I saw you mentioned particular name that you have sued. I mean, a news.
Honorable Member, I think you said I made a disparaging statement against Northerners. And that is a video that was separated, which is fake. And for that matter, I filed a suit against 3 people. You see? No, I filed a suit. Maybe you were not here. I said I filed a suit, 10 million suit, against militant publishers of the Insight newspaper, the acting editor, Mr. Kufo, of the Insight newspaper, and one Ni Tete, who claims to be the Chief Executive Officer of Strategic Thinkers Network, STRANDEC. And once I filed the suit, and the case has been called once, I don't want to comment any further. Mr. Chairman, with all apologies, I don't want to deliberate on this issue again, because the case is before.
We've already said so earlier, but let's be clear about this. The rule is that you don't comment in a way as to prejudice the parties. So if a question is asked and I think that it will prejudice, I will disallow it. However, the point is well made. I was going to make a comment on that, but I didn't know that the matter was subject case. Since you told me, I restrained myself. So, sorry.
Members will allow the chairman to be in charge so that he can rule out a member. But when you are asking questions and members are just throwing at you, I mean, it is not right.
I ignore all their sides, so let's work with it. Honorable Patricia PJ, yes.
Right, thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Congratulations, my regional minister, for this retaining your position as the regional minister for our region. We are very proud of you. I've worked with you, and I know your capabilities. But going through your handing over notes, I noticed at the appendices attached to the handing over notes that the decentralized stroke concentrated department, you still have town and country planning as one of the departments within there. And I've been wondering what happened to the passage of Act 925, which made LASPA the authority for that. So I want you to state over here, it might be an oversight and must be corrected. But what I want to get from you is how have you implemented that act in the region? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, it's a mistake, and we have to correct it because we have the Land Use and Special Planning Authority replacing the town and country planning. So it was an error on our part. Yes, we are implementing them already. We have the committees in place. I directed during my first term all the MMDAs to submit their plans to the authority, the regional head of the authority. She is done with some of them, but it's not completed all. Again, I've instructed all the MMDAs not to issue even temporary permits to people in road reservations because they create a lot of problems. With these, if we implement them well, after the Land Use and Special Planning Authority has approved of the various layouts, I think it will help us and reduce some of the problems associated with planning within the communities in the Ashanti region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My next question lies with the industrialization, it's a follow-up of the industrialization program that you have for Ashanti. I have observed that in most of the markets in Ashanti region, especially in Kumasi, these markets are occupied by manufacturers of shoes. And if you have 3,000 acres of land at Ejoso, will you assure us, especially my constituents, who have so many, over 3,000 shoemakers residing in our land who have been bedeviled with a lot of floods spoiling their wares, will you assure us that you can work with the Ministry of Trade and get a site for us to reconstruct the shoe factory that we have missed within our community? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, your MC, with your support, wrote to me that you need a place where you send all the footwear producers to. Even there was a request that we hand over the former shoe factory to them so that they could use that place. We sent the letter to the Ministry of Trade and Industries. We've not received response because part was leased out to a company that was manufacturing, a Czech company that was manufacturing footwear for the security services, which wasn't sustainable. The company more or less has collapsed. So we are still looking at possible places where we can get for them. But for now, we will follow up on the use of the former or the old shoe factory premises whilst we look for a permanent place for them, but with the approval of the Minister for Trade and Industries. Before then, I think we are aware we moved some people from the central market to the Vinci area. All of them are footwear producers. So we are looking at it in its entirety. If we can get a common place where all of them will assemble and produce the footwear. Thank you very much.
And my final question. Having gone round at the assumption of school by the basic school, the pupils, I observed that Ashanti region, in my constituency in particular, there were some schools that had a population of about 100 students in a class. With the pandemic in mind, would you recommend to GES what would you recommend to GES to ensure safe and healthy environment for learning in our educational system? Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. On the opening of the schools, I went around with the regional director, Ghana Education Service. There were some few schools where we realized that the people were mainly for a single classroom. So they arranged for temporary places for them, said that they could do the social distancing. They could observe social distancing protocol. These other schools we are talking about, I will inform the regional director to give me any school for which a classroom takes more than 35, 40 people, so that we can work on them and submit requests to Ministry of Education. Because they've done a lot for us. To have 424 educational infrastructure in basic school in 4 years is not small. And to have 378 in the senior high schools, I think is great achievement. But we look at the rest and also submit the request to the Ministry of Education. Thank you very much.
Honorable Samuel Ablakwa. Honorable Ablakwa, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my question to the honorable nominee relates to the phase 2 project of the KJTR redevelopment project. I note that President Mahama initiated phase 1, and on the 2nd of May 2019, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Otumfuo Osei II jointly cut the sword for phase 2. But reading up on the project, it appears that it has stalled, and the contractors have stated publicly that congestion and the residents around in the way of the project are refusing to give way, and the project might even delay 2 years beyond the project completion cycle. This is quite an expensive project. I read that it costs about 258 million euros, and it's a facility that this House approved. And one would have thought that the project will be completed in good time so that the project can begin to pay for itself. As regional minister, I'm sure these facts are known to you. And what are you doing to expedite work on the phase 2 KJTR redevelopment project, which is of concern to many people in that enclave?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, the project has not stalled, and the contractor is on site. The pace of work is a bit slow because most of the prefabricated parts which they should have brought from UK delayed because of the COVID. Fortunately, most of them have arrived. What they are requesting for now is additional space. You know, where we relocated the people, the traders initially, is not the complete land space that they require. So they need additional space, which I've issued press release. I made those earlier, that they should relocate to a Binchi market, or Nanafie could be the second market, and raise costs. We've shown them latest by 7th of this month, so that the contractor will have access to additional land, which they can speed up with the process. Even after this relocation, there will be another relocation until they get the final space for construction of phase 2. You know, initially we had problems too because of movement from the central market to KJTR. Then when we resolve that one, another movement. You know, like human being as we are, people will resist. When there's change, you have people who will resist. But fortunately, we've been able to talk to them, and they've agreed to move.
My second question is on a viral video which made the rounds last week. At least I saw it last week. A heart-wrenching video, very disheartening. Pregnant women who have delivered newborn babies. They and their babies were on the floor at the Mensah government hospital. It did break a lot of hearts. And I want to find out from you, as regional minister, if you saw that video and what you assure this committee you will do if given the nod to change the fortunes of the Meshia Government Hospital to tackle this matter, because it's really troubling.
All right, thank you very much. Actually, I have not seen that video, but somebody informed me. I went to the hospital, so the head of the hospital says they are going to investigate and get back to me. Because when I went, they had also not seen the video. So I'm sure they will submit a report to me maybe during this week. When I get the content of the report, I will know the necessary steps to take to remedy the situation. Thank you very much.
I'm sure that when we are done, I can share the video with you on your way out.
Thank you very much. I'll be very grateful.
Since you are a friend of Parliament. My final question will be on you and the churches in the Ashanti region. I have seen a lot of publications about you seemingly fighting the church. On the 25th of November 2017, the Graphic Online reports that you stormed the Bethel, House of Bethel Ministry. They were conducting an all-night service, and the report says you caused the arrest of the pastor, that they were making too much noise. I also have another publication here on the 28th of November 2018. Noisy churches to be disconnected from electricity supply. Honorable Simon Osei Mensah. What do you have against the church in the Ashanti region, and why all this Gestapo arrest and the threats of disconnecting electricity and all of that? Exactly what is going on. Are you at war with the Christian churches in the Ashanti region?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, I'm somebody who is free with all the various faiths. And I will not do something against maybe a particular church or something. What happened was, it was around midnight. My house is just opposite the church, and the noise was too much. So I went there and told them that, no, it's late. Can you bring down the volume of your system? When I left, now because of the prayers, he's evil, he cannot sleep. Oh yes. Now the prayers, because of the prayers, he can't sleep. Let's shout. Then they increase it. So I came out. It was even risky for me. So I drove out of my house, went to Ija police station, and reported. And when they brought machine with an environmental officer to check the noise, the level of the noise, and they realized they had breached the law. So they arrested them and seized some of the equipment. I didn't seize them. I used the right channel to do it. And after that, Honorable Chairman, if you permit me, I'll read a letter the solicitors of the pastor wrote to me to apologize to me, if you so permit.
If you have it, you may read it. Yeah.
Owusu Afriye Chambers, barristers and solicitors. Addressed to Honorable Simon Osei Mensah, Ashanti Regional Minister, Kumasi, Ashanti. Dear Sir, incident at House of Bethel Ministry, Angomasu, Kumasi. Letter of apology. I write as solicitor for and on behalf of my client, Reverend Kwame Techi, of House of Bethel Ministry Church, Angomasu, Kumasi. I have been instructed by my client to write to sincerely apologize to you on the incident that happened or occurred at the House of Bethel Ministry Church, Angomasu, Kumasi, on 25th November 2017 at about 1 a.m. They added midnight, actually in the morning. 1 a.m. midnight. My client unreservedly apologized for his conduct as well as that of members of his congregation, who out of ignorance or naivety resisted and showed insubordination towards you. In your legitimate desire to ensure that noise level is reduced to the barest minimum at Angomaso community and the region as a whole, we hope that in the spirit of good neighborliness, you accept this apology in good faith, and we promise that such incident will never occur again. God bless you. Signed, Kwame MP Afriye SQ of Owusu Afriye Chambers, Barristers and Solicitors, Edum Kumasi.
Mr. Chairman, that is well noted. The second part of my question is the electricity. Your mic is on.
Yes, I'm
the second part of my question.
Hold on, please.
Okay, sure.
Now you may table, well, having read it, you table it for our record. So please, the clerk will come for it.
Please, I have a follow-up. So, flowing from your answer, you can say that you are not against churches in the Ashanti region. Neither are you against Christianity in the Ashanti region.
Yes, please. As I said earlier, I have respect for all faiths, including Christianity. Even since being the regional minister for 4 years, every quarter, I have the Christian community come to the regional coordinating council to organize church service with me from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every quarter for the whole 4 years. Thank you very much.
In fact, you have nothing against them.
I'm friends of them.
It will be interesting to know the noise levels when they come to you for that quarterly church services at 7 to 9 a.m. But the second part of my question, to refresh your memory, it's the publication I read, a threat you, or a notice you put out that you will disconnect the electricity of noisy churches. Did you really say that? Is that some kind of a fiat? And how do you intend to implement this, your interesting policy?
That is pure fake news. It's not true. I have no knowledge about it. I have never said this anyway. Thank you very much.
All right. Honorable John Kuma.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to the Honorable Minister. You look very handsome in your kente. My question has to do with the dusty nature of roads in Kumasi, especially the Atonsu Agogo towards Bosontri areas. And then also the spate of abandoned roads by road contractors in the region.
Honorable Member, the Atonsu Agogo towards Bosontri, is that part of Kumasi?
It's part of Ashanti region.
You said Kumasi roads.
Oh,
but
okay.
Kumasi ends at that junction. From that going is Bosontri.
I thought it was part of Greater Kumasi.
Yes, that part is Bosontri.
So maybe Kumasi and Greater Kumasi areas.